What a way to start, huh? What a terrific way to start. You know, let's give Larry and Harriet another hand, please. So I'm going to take my own artistic creative license and dub you the sensational musical group Lariat.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
You like it?
My
So
name's
Lariat will be
my
playing.
name's
Oh. Well, let's start with prayer. Please make yourselves comfortable and join me in consciousness. A deep centering breath. Release. Let's just know and feel and recognize that the presence of God is right here in this very space. In, around, and through this beautiful sanctuary at Unity of Pasadena. In, around, and through each and every person here. This presence is often known as love. We feel that now. We bring that feeling of love into our entire being. And we do that because we know that when we feel that love, we've made a connection. We've made a connection with this magnificent power that moves all things, that drives everything we see, feel, know, and hear. And that also brings us inner peace when we desire it. Motivates us and moves us to do all that we need to do at any time, any place. And it also allows us to feel the connection with one another, for there is only one thing here. We here at Unity of Pasadena recognize and know that God moves in and through as us in everything that we do, in all that we think, in everything that we feel. And so we're so grateful today for all the volunteers that set this stage for each of us on Sunday. For those that greet at the door, for those that do the sound and the streaming, for those that do the PowerPoint and act as our ushers, for our prayer chaplains that hold the light for us here at Unity of Pasadena. Bring us prayer as we need it, anytime, anywhere. We also bless each and every one of you here today and thank you for coming. What a magnificent newness flooding through this space on New Year. And we just recognize it and revel in it and feel the beauty of the newness. And then, of course, we all feel it too, as I do. I love Sundays. And so it's with this great thanksgiving for all it is that I release it into the law of mind, knowing that it's already done. And please join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. Yes. And so, before we get started with Holy, 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 because we're going to do that, I'm going to ask you to turn your cell phones down. Now, I'm keenly aware of that because I forgot to do that around midnight last night on my own cell phone, you know, and so the thought was continuous. Who are these people? After midnight, who are these people that could stay up so late? I mean, amazing. So let's begin with a little holy, holy, holy. You guys get to join in on this one too. I love it when you do.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart. Allow me to see beauty and love that lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy. And now for the prayer. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole.
Whew. Well, if you're streaming at home, I know that you were just belting it out there and adding the harmony that we needed to hear for that holy, holy, holy. Usually we get about 6 parts of harmony, you know, and I just love that. So it's great to see each and every one of you. And great to know that those that are on the streaming today are here. And if you're brand new on streaming, hello, good to see you. Unity of Pasadena is working the spiritual way, and we'd love to have you in the seats. You know, we're wide open and ready to roll. And for those of you that are new here today in the seats, we're so happy to see you, so happy to know that you've found a space where you're welcome here from the heart. And so I like to say this because it's kind of a statement of unity, and I want you to join me in it, please. There's only one thing. It may look like more than one thing. It may feel like more than one thing, but it's only one thing. Expressing as you, expressing as me, and everything we see. Fantastic. So we got a great show for you here today, and a message. And there's newness in the air, and we're going to capitalize on the idea that newness is up front and center in our consciousness. And we're going to talk about some of the things that the new change can bring us in the new year, and what we might want to key on. And I'm excited about that because I have at least one personal story that I think you'll enjoy, and it's each day a little bit more near and dear to my heart. So with that, we're going to begin with our unity blessing. And if you please join me in this unity blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are. And we also have a statement of faith I'd like you to join us in. There's only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence, and I am one with that presence and power. And so, Charmaine, you're going to be doing our community today, right? Come on up. Thank you.
I'm wearing many hats today. Welcome, 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 and happy 2023. Whew! Yes. A fresh beginning, a wonderful time to be together in this vibrant spiritual community. We have a lot of things planned in this first quarter and beyond, so I'm so excited to see what is emerging here at Unity and also in my life. New cycle. I just kind of want to do a happy dance all the time. Our vision here at Unity is aligned with Unity Worldwide Ministries. Please join with me in affirming our vision. Envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Becoming that vision translates into being the hands and feet of the divine in action. Please join with me in affirming our mission. Transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love using practical spiritual principles. And please join with me in affirming our core values: creating community, living love, teaching truth, serving spirit. Each of these statements are located on the front of your bulletin, and they represent our intention as a ministry. Also inside your bulletin is our monthly calendar. Please remember to check your bulletin, and of course the Unity of Pasadena website calendar for all the latest happenings. A big shout out last week for Jacqueline Collette, for providing our Christmas decorations. They were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. We had 37 people here last week. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, on Christmas. Where else are you supposed to be on Christmas? Church, right? I know, grandmas, grandkids, opening gifts, family dinner, et cetera, But for those of you who were here and managed to work all your other activities around it, thanks for being present. Today's hospitality is hosted by Groups ABC. Thank you to everyone who brought a dish to share. Thank you to the servers and the cleanup crew. Next week is the second Sunday of the month, and hospitality will be provided by those whose last names start with D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Please arrive a few minutes early to set up your food and stay a few minutes after fellowship to help clean up. Thank you to everyone who brings in a little something week after week that helps make our hospitality hour the wonderful time that it is each and every Sunday. Thank you. Tea time with the prayer chaplains is now on the first Sunday of the month. It's after fellowship. Today it is going to be facilitated by Bill, so please stick around after food and fellowship to participate in this monthly event. Our annual Burning Bowl is next Sunday, January 8th. As part of our regular service, we will contemplate and release to Spirit all that no longer serves us on our individual spiritual journey. You won't want to miss it. Ageless by Design. Our very own Marty Arnold is giving a class on Sunday, January 22nd. Marty, stand up. Thank you. It's from noon to 1. It'll be after fellowship. Registration is $20. See me for sign-ups. And a few little topic teasers. Where are you using your shungite? How tender are your telomeres? Why does color affect your world? Are you parched? And mind grooves and body moves. Whoop, there's that happy dance again. You know Marty. She is beloved, and we certainly embrace her as one of us. And so if you have any questions, you can also talk to Marty. I think it's going to be a fun class. Norma is contemplating a vision board class. She is asking how large of an interest, though, there is among you in doing a vision board here at UOP. She's thinking maybe Sunday the 29th. It could be a Saturday. Norma has an interesting approach. She does the vision board according to Feng Shui principles. So let me know if you're interested, because Norma's not here today. And please, 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 we need people to bring in magazines. Whether or not you're interested in the visioning board, we still need magazines so we can cut and craft. And we promise to recycle those magazines that are not used or that are cut up. So during fellowship, let me know if you're interested, and then next week you can talk to Norma. It's an intention board for 2023. You can also use it specific to a dream that you might hold, but you, with Feng Shui, you divide it up into different sections that might be finances or relationships or your spiritual journey, and you set your intentions. Did I do that okay? Kind of, sort of? All right. Talk to Norma. It's her class. I just participate. Faith String. Wow. Some of you have heard me talk about going to her workshop. She's going to come here February 18th. It's a Saturday evening. It's from 6 to 8. Spiritual response therapy, the basics of Akashic healing. See me for signups. Registration is $35. I tell you, this woman is amazing. Her energy is absolutely just incredible. Very warm, very high. I was impressed. I was glad to be able to book her here at Unity of Pasadena. I've started to work with spiritual response therapy, and it's a really powerful method that just bypasses all the curiosity factor and cuts right to the core of our blocks and the cause of our issues, and releasing them. So I hope you will join me. For this class, though, you are responsible for purchasing the book Soul Recreation, Developing Your Cosmic Potential by Robert Detzler. He actually was a Unity minister, and then through his counseling and his therapy and through his ministry, he kind of ran afoul of the intentions of his governing board. So he decided to continue with the therapy end. He's written several books. And you will also be asked to bring a pendulum. It's a beginner's crash course meant to get you started now on clearing trauma and blocks for yourself and others. We're going to learn what the Akashic records are, the benefit of accessing them, learn to use a pendulum, learn to muscle test, learn to energetically protect yourself, and review the first 10 spiritual response therapy charts in the book in detail, and she outlines the steps on how to work with them. So it's extraordinarily efficient, and it's easy to use, and it's one more tool in your bag of tricks, I guess, if you want to call them that. Spiritual tools, spiritual toolkit. Faith is a third-generation healer. She lives here in Los Angeles. She's a past life healer. She's a Reiki master. She does cosmic channeling, and she's a manifestation coach. So she combines multiple modalities and her understanding of the chakra system and the physical body to really deal with a whole system healing experience. And her mother and grandmother also practiced spiritual response therapy, and she started using it at the age of 19. So I'm really excited to have her here. Just saying. I know I went on a little long. It happens occasionally. Praying with others is before I continue, we have a lot of things going on in this first quarter, and I will get you a save the date. Reverend Greg is doing a workshop. We have another sound healing. We have Marty's class. We have tea time. We have faith. We have a lot of things. So by next Sunday, I will be a little bit more organized, and I will have a save the date sheet for you with everything written down. Praying with others is a core practice here at Unity of Pasadena. If you would like to have prayer today, please complete a prayer request form. You may place your prayer requests in the collection basket or in the prayer box, which is located in the foyer. You can also hand them to one of our prayer chaplains. You may also request prayer through our website, by mail, or by phone. And these requests are held in prayer with our chaplains, and then they are forwarded to Silent Unity, the 24-hour prayer ministry at Unity Village in Missouri. There they are held in prayer for 30 days. Michelle is going to be our chaplain of the day and leading our meditation. And in preparation, Jacqueline Collette is going to be reading the daily word. Thank you.
Happy New Year. The affirmation from today's daily word. Centered in God, I create a fresh new life. I begin this year with renewed enthusiasm and a fresh perspective. I feel vibrantly alive as I realize that all the love, wisdom, energy, and strength of God are mine to express in my life right now. Grateful for the lessons of life experience, I release past disappointments with a forgiving heart. I find harmony in my relationships as I look beyond differences and focus on the divine life and love that unite all people. I go about my work seeking to serve others with a humble heart. I find ways to develop and evolve my skills and nurture my talents, allowing me to continue to grow and learn. This year, I will thrive in all areas of life as I feel God's presence everywhere I go and in everything I do. The scriptural reference is from Revelation. And the one who was seated on the throne said, "See, I am making all things new."
Secret of Life, James Taylor.
Mic malfunction. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it. There ain't nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. But since we're on our way down, we might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is an opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. Anyone knows that love is the only road. And since we're only here for a while, we might as well show some style. Give us a smile, isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. Now the thing about time is that time isn't really real. It's just your point of view. How does it feel for you in there? Einstein said he can never understand it all. Planet spinning through space, a smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.
Well, yes. Happy New Year. Last night I was driving around doing my pet sitting, and it was so, okay, I'm gonna change this. I'm just gonna change it and not fight with it. This is my goal of this year, change. And I was driving around last night, and it was so gray that I literally could not see about 20 feet ahead of me, the cars. And so I did not take the freeway. I just went on the side streets. And going back to where I'm pet sitting, it's way up on top of a mountain, and I really could not see where I was supposed to turn. But when you're on a mountain, you really need to know where the turn is. Now, I have been there many, many times, but luckily there was a car, and they were blinking their light, and it was like, we're going left, and it's like, yes, and so am I. And I just, I was just thinking, okay, I can't see anything outside, but I know when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to see amazing things, and I'm going to feel so good about 2023, and I am ready, God. I am so ready to say yes for change and for exciting things that happen in my life that I never anticipated. And yes, it's already started. I went on a pet sit, and I was petting a kitty in the living room. And I heard a crash in the kitchen, and I went, no, I can't be here all day. And I went in, and of course, there was kitty kibble everywhere. And I thought, well, that's kind of a trick that the other cat just wanted me to stay a little longer. So, as I was picking up, one kibble, it was a big box. And, but I was just going, you know what, this is really okay, because I'm just spending more time with them, and that's fine. And then when I drove up to Pasadena and I saw the mountains and the clouds just gently going away, and I just thought, oh, this is why I live here. Because when I look up and I say yes to change and yes to the signs and symbols that God is always present in my life, it's always there. And it's so wonderful. And I appreciate it so much. And I invite you to say the prayer of St. Francis with me. And just take these words in, because you're inviting something in, and you are giving the way that it can happen. So let's say it from our hearts. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine presence, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And that is through grace that we are given everlasting life. And I invite you to take your hands and just bring, you receive and you give. And you receive and you give. And you receive and you give. And as James Taylor said, it is a lovely ride. And let us start this ride of 2023 knowing that God is good, God is love, God is light. We can find joy in every moment if we look and we see and we hear and we listen and we reach our hands out to others by sharing our love. Other people are touched, and it is multiplied. And we are touched, and our love multiplies. And I say, yes, God, to change. Yes, God, to letting go. Yes, God, to knowing that even if I see a rock in the road, I can always see the flowers in the field next to it, and I can walk around it. I will find ways to open the box that I live in. I find ways to change things into the goodness of what is happening. And I will understand all sides and know that all is blessed and loved, because each of us has that seed of love in our hearts. And we water and nourish those seeds so that in the spring they become flowers. I invite you to take 2 minutes now in silence. And I say, yes, God. 2023, I praise without ceasing. I pray continually. And I do that by what I see, what I hear, what I know. And I am willing. I am willing to pray all the time in everything I do, knowing that God is love, knowing that I have faith, and knowing that Unity of Pasadena is here and the doors are open. And so it is. Amen.
Here we are. Aretha Franklin and Michael McDonald.
These are ever-changing times. I see the clock upon the wall, but it don't bother me at all. These are ever-changing times. And these are ever-changing times. Everything is going so much faster. It seems like I'm watching my life and everything I do, wondering if the dreams I believed in could still come true. Caught in between, it comes back to You and me running out of time. I gotta find me a better understanding. Every day keep forgetting what's mine. I gotta find me a way less demanding. We're holding on so tight together all of our lives. And I had a big idea, so much of my life still not completed, hopes and fears, watching it change into something new, wondering if I'm gonna find the answer, loving you all of my life. It comes back to you and me running out of time. I gotta find me a better understanding. Every day keep forgetting what's mine. I gotta find me a way less demanding. And we're holding on so tight together all of our lives.
I see the clock upon the wall, but it don't bother me at all. These are ever-changing times. I see the clock upon the wall, but it don't bother me at all. These are ever-changing times.
All of my life, it comes back to you and me running out of time. I gotta find me a better understanding. Every day keep forgetting what's mine. I gotta find me a way less demanding. And we're holding on so tight together. And we're gonna be alright together all of our lives.
I see the clock upon the wall, but it don't bother me at all. These are ever-changing times. I see the clock upon the wall, but it don't bother me at all. These are ever-changing times.
So I'm struck by the complexity of that song. And I know, but you know what? It highlights, honestly, the really unique stylist that you are, Alex, truly. I mean, and your phrasing is so interesting, and the register that you are comfortable in is so beautiful. And I just want you to know that I truly, truly enjoy the way you present the music. So thank you very much for doing that. And Larry, of course, you know, I mean, I don't think by the end of the day there's going to be any one of those keys that hasn't had your attention. I mean, there are 88 of them on a piano, right? And Larry finds a way to play them all. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're talking about change and time. I mean, I think time has been a part of every single song that you guys have done. And change was sort of your focus, Michelle, and change was the focus of just about everything we've talked about here. And it's no surprise, I suppose, that change is the theme for the month. So we're going to be talking about change throughout the month and different ways of looking at what it is that we would like to do. You know, we're reminded that on New Year's Day that change is constant. But what we're not often reminded of, and this is what I want to remind you of today, is that you can be in charge of how this change unfolds. I mean, usually you're not in charge. When you look out the window and you see that it rained last night, or it is raining, or the wind is blowing, or whatever is going on, you're not in charge of that. You're absolutely not in charge of that. You know, you're not in charge of when the sun starts to shine in the morning and when the sun, you know, goes down. We say goes down, but what's really happening, we know, is that the earth turns, right? I mean, we know a little bit more today than they did when they said the sun's coming up and the sun's going down, but it looks like that. So we love change, and we love to be able to have something of a hand in it. I mean, we can actually kind of, direct certain things in our lives, because a lot of the change that we experience, meaningful change, is in the way we respond to the things that happen out there. The way we see those things, the way we take a worldview and say, our own worldview, this is the world I want to see. I am very fond of an idea that was given to me at a point in time when I needed to change. And a lot of you know my story, that I'm a member of a 12-step program as well. There are things that I had to do in order to change. And I wasn't capable of doing it on my own, so I had to find a group that I could connect with. I had to find a way that I could move through that change process. I had to find a way, as they say, of changing the way I look at the world, changing the way I think, because the problem centers in the mind. And we are very complicated. We're very complicated animals. We are bio, psycho, social, and I think we are spiritual and environmental animals as well. I mean, all of these things affect us. All of these things are part of this system that is seen as us. We're all connected in that system as well. We are all, as we indicated last week, that which one another is. And just as we accept the Christ consciousness in us, given to us as that magnificence, that beauty of life, that power, that presence that brings about a change and salvation in the way that we operate in this world, we also know that that change is available to us, through us, by just making a decision to change the way that we look at this world. So I did that when I went into this 12-step program. I was really absolutely enamored with the idea that I could get something done, change my own mind, change my life. Because you know what? Nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you want to see something new in your life, you've got to welcome it in. You've got to say yes to it. Thank you for that, Michelle, saying yes to the things that bring about newness in your life. So if you're going to want to welcome newness in your life, you're going to have to say yes to it. And sometimes that's a bit scary. It's a bit scary. There are a ton of different ways to do this, to say yes to life. But I'm going to talk about one today that I think is incredibly important for us. And it is, in a sense, one of the most amazing changes you can make in the way you relate to the world that creates such security and safety for you from a psychological standpoint, and also enriches your life in ways that you may not have ever thought possible. So I've been reading a book lately, and I absolutely adore the author of this book. His name's Dr. Gabor Mate. Anybody ever heard of Gabor Mate? Dr. Gabor Mate is a psychiatrist. He was born in the era of Nazi Germany and occupation of, I believe it was Romania. I believe he was born in Romania. And he had that as a difficulty when he was young, and he was given up by his mother to a group of non-Jews who could take care of him, because the Jews were, of course, targets. And he became a psychiatrist and practiced out of Canada, and actually tours the world today talking about some of the things that are really, really important for us to understand. His new book is called The Myth of Normal. And I really like that, because when I hear about normies, I think, do they exist? I don't know. I know I certainly can't be seen as normal. And I mean, if somebody said, you're just a normal guy, I don't think so. In fact, everybody that knows me would say, no, that's not true. You are not just a normal guy. But the myth of normal, and he talks about, over the course of this book, the magnificent healing power of connection. And so he says, in the history of how we have been formed as a people, as a race in today's society, that there's been a lack of connection, something that didn't exist when indigenous people were living in their smaller groups. You know, there was always contact between the parents and the child, and, you know, they never set the child in a stroller and pushed it around. I mean, they carried the child around, right? I mean, there was a connection between the child and the family and one another, and it was something that you could rely upon. And so he came up with this idea that the antidote or the solution to fear, to that sense of dread in life that all of us seem to have from time to time, is not building a security system or putting up cameras or getting guard dogs or building a moat around your house. It's actually connection. I mean, when I say that, you can sort of feel, you can just sort of feel the awe that comes through your body, you know? I mean, if you're not feeling safe and secure, it's because you're not connecting to something that brings you a feeling of harmony, of ease, and a sense of serenity and peace. So connection is his big deal, and I think that that's a great thing for us to key on today. And if you're interested in making New Year's resolutions, I mean, you might want to think of connection as a way to step into something that's brand new for you. You know, rather than, and by the way, and I'm a gym rat, I love gyms, rather than something that's of a material nature, which is like a gym membership. You know, I mean, because I'm a gym rat, I see this happen every year. Every year in January and February, the gyms fill up, you know, and they're filled with people wearing brand new spandex outfits, and they're all ready to go, and they've got their headbands on. I mean, it's quite a sensation being in there and watching the new people, because you just got to stand and laugh, because you know they're going to be gone in about 2 weeks, maybe 3, maybe a month. They're just going to be gone. They're not going to come back. You know, they'll get real sore the first day and walk around and not be able to move, and they'll say, this may not be for me. There's got to be a better way, or at least a different way. And so, you know, that's kind of in the material sense. I need a gym membership to make change. You know, I need to do that to make change. But really, the change comes from within. And so the kind of connection I'm talking about that creates that safety and change is seen in a lot of things that because I've been thinking about it all week, that I've encountered recently. So this particular afternoon, about 5 days ago, I decided to take a hike. You know, it had rained, a little earlier, and it was nice and clear, and it was beautiful, and the grass is starting to peek up through the ground in the Chino Hills State Park, where we live at the base of the Chino Hills State Park, and you can look up at the hills and go, oh, brand new shoots of green, you know? What a neat thing. So I'm thinking, I'm going to take a hike. I'm going to go up into the Chino Hills State Park. I know nobody's in there. It's just a beautiful, wide open space, 15,000 acres of trails. And so I got my little backpack on. I put my food in it and my water, and I started hiking up the side of the hill and doing my little trek up to the top. And I get up to the top, and I take a usual trail that takes me back into sort of a secretive place. And I'm about 2 miles in. I'm about 2 miles into the park, and all of a sudden, in front of me, I see something different. I see that there's what looks like a little bit of a campground there. You know, I mean, as I get closer, I see a makeshift tent. It looks like there'd been some sort of a lean-to or a tent that had been built between 2 oak trees on the side of a hill. I thought, this is all brand new. I've never seen this before. I walk around a little curve, and I start to see what looks like a human being. And this person is sitting on something on the ground, and I can see that the space seems to be sort of lived in. Now, I've never seen anybody inside the Chino Hills State Park camping out in the middle of that space. It's way too far out for it to be a homeless setting, you know, a place for homeless people to go, because you got to be close to businesses and places where you can eat and you know, use the facilities and that kind of thing. So I know that this probably isn't a typical situation where you might have a homeless person that's living there. And as I get closer, I start to think, well, maybe it's dangerous for me to go up there. I mean, my mind moved to that. Maybe it's dangerous. So I stood there, and I watched for a minute, and I knew that he saw me, and he stood up, and he was looking at me, and I thought about all the things that I just said to you, you know, what makes him seem a little bit different. And I started walking up to him. And I walked about 100 yards, and I got up to him, and I introduced myself. He was a kid about, I don't know, maybe 25 to 30 years old. Looked like he was in real good shape, looked like a really nice person, and I started to talk to him about, you know, what was going on, how life was treating him, and we had this beautiful conversation, and you know, he reminded me of people that I used to run into when I was in my hippie days. Anybody in here a hippie? Anybody kind of, okay, all right. So you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, where in those days where, you know, everybody sort of wore beads and, you know, had Volkswagen vans and lived out of them, and you lived together, and it was communal living, and you pooled your money and food, and you just had a blast, and you didn't care about what was happening down the road. I mean, you were in the now all the time. And you were doing a little acid once in a while, too, you know. I mean, a little nod to that. And so we started talking about those days. He was obviously way too young for that. And he wanted to know about the music that was going on back then and how everybody enjoyed the music. He wanted to know what it was like in those days when, you know, Haight-Ashbury was going on, and when people lived for what seemed to be a different reason. He wanted to know what it was like, and he expressed this, what it was like to live in a consciousness of this is happening without having to search for it. See? I mean, it was right in front of you. That's what you were living in. That was the painting you were living in back then. If you remember that, that's the painting you were living in, you know? You stepped into that canvas of, I don't know, simplicity and a feeling that there was something that needed to change, and in order for that to happen, you had to love each other. I remember those days very, very specifically and soundly. And so I was a good person to talk to him about that. And we talked about his history and where he'd been and what he was doing, and he'd come from Texas, and he found his way up to Idaho, and he does all this on a skateboard, by the way, all this on a skateboard and a backpack. And he talked about how he went from Idaho down to Arizona, and from Arizona here to California, and he's just, you know, trying to live the free soul thing, you know. And he had a meditation pillow there, and I asked him if he meditates, and we talked about that. Yeah, I meditate. And he wasn't at all what I thought I might find. When I first looked at him, he wasn't at all that person. And so I thought, you know, maybe we could stay in contact. You have a cell phone. I can see it right there next to you. And do you have internet connectivity? And here's my email address. Email me. I want to know where you're going. I want to know what's happening with you. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know the experiences that you're having. And immediately when I got back to my house, our house, I got an email from him. And he was talking about the music thing, and he said, I want you to send me some YouTube clips or, you know, links to whatever you can so that I can listen to some of these things that you were talking about, you know. And so I picked some of my favorite musical experiences of the day, you know. He seemed to be this kind of a guy that really enjoyed nature. So I sent, if you know the song, Nature's Way by Spirit. Anybody know that? Do you remember that song? You remember that, Bill? Yeah. Yeah, what a song, right? I mean, an amazing song. And I sent a couple of others too. And he wrote back about 2 days later and said, you know, it's starting to rain, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this kind of thing, and I'm thinking about going this way and thinking about going that way. And he said, I want to thank you for not treating me the same way everybody else has, because people run away from me. They think I'm just a homeless person. They are scared of me. They think I'm a drifter. They think I'm a no account. You know, and the truth is, what I'm really trying to do is find myself. And I thought, that's what I was trying to do back then. That's what we were all trying to do, this little hippie generation thing. It's find ourselves, And I could see the emotion. I could feel the emotion in that email. And it wasn't written by somebody who was uneducated. It wasn't written by somebody who misspelled every word or didn't know how to phrase, the whole story that he was telling. Incredibly intelligent, very well spoken in word. And I started to think, this is what Gabor Mate is talking about. He's talking about connection. He's talking about the importance of connection in this book, The Myth of Normal. And this is exactly the kind of situation that I want to talk about today. Stepping into a situation, maybe a new space where you meet new people and you connect with them and you finally feel safe in this world of difficulty and changes. You finally find something where you think, yeah, there's some security in knowing these people. Do you know when I finally got to know you guys, the security was palpable for me. It was. I'm not a guy that's always looking for safety. Because I'm a little bit of a rebel myself. But this brought a sense of not just security, but of harmony and connectedness in becoming part of your family that I hadn't had in a long, long time. And I just feel the safety around that. And so I could understand his name's Nathan, by the way. His name's Nathan Venable. And I just can't wait to get responses from him as he starts to move toward the beach. He wants to go to the beach. He's going to hit that bike path that I told him about that was just down the way and skateboard all the way down to the beach. I can almost not wait for the email coming from him to tell me how it's going. And quite frankly, I'd be happy to hop in the car and drive down and help him if he needed any help at all. Because the connection worked both ways. That connection worked both ways. Not just from him understanding and knowing and feeling the security, but I felt the same thing. And I feel a little more connected to life as a result of this. What an interesting experience for me, and what a time for it to come along when what I'm thinking about is newness and the newness of connection and how it's a healing force. This woman right here, Carol Bliss, wrote a book called Love Heals. And you are not going to feel the kind of love that you would like to feel to heal yourself and feel safe and sound and secure unless you're connected. So, a new experience. I'm just having a great time with it. And I believe that the things that we find happening in our society today are a result of that lack of connection. I was talking about the indigenous people holding their babies tight, not putting them in strollers. They don't put them in strollers. They don't have a system of putting them in something that you can push the baby around in while you play with your cell phone. I mean, is there any contact there? Not really. Is there a sense of separation? Yes. Does that baby feel like an other? I think maybe. Do the things that we don't do with respect to personal connection make others feel like an other? Does it make us feel like an other as well? Do we lose that sense of knowing that there's really only one thing expressing as each and every one of us? Are we afraid to step into something that we know not of? Is this the time we need the courage to make that connection? Is this not how we get to know people that we've always stood back and said, I'd love to know more about them, but I don't know if they'd understand me. And they're dying for that connection the same way that you are. I mean, they are feeling that just like you. So, I was listening to Eric Butterworth the other day. You guys know how much I enjoy Eric Butterworth, and you can listen to him too. He's got an Eric Butterworth podcast. Now, for those of you who don't know, Eric Butterworth passed away some time ago, but he was a prolific speaker and a prolific writer. And Eric Butterworth tells this interesting story that I thought was very, very poignant, and it kind of nails down what it is I'm talking about. He was talking about a true story that he was aware of, where he actually was, standing near a bus station. He was involved in, he was taking a bus somewhere, and you know how the buses stop and they allow people to get food and go to the restroom and have their own comfort break and stuff like that. And he was watching how a couple of buses came in for exactly that reason. And he noticed that there was one bus that rolled up, and that bus had some really, really happy people on it. I mean, they appeared to be going somewhere, and they knew each other, and they were having a great old time. They were laughing, and they were obviously engaging in something that was attractive, because it also got the attention of a woman who'd been seated on a seat right near Eric Butterworth. And he watched the woman and he watched the group. And when it was time for that group to go, he watched that woman who was seated on that seat, who apparently did not know anyone in that group, wander that way and get on that bus. Now, Eric Butterworth later found out, according to the story, that she had ended up at a lake called Cedar Lake and was actually welcomed into a retreat that these people were going to, and found fast new friends, a method of connection that nobody would have ever suspected. Now, he himself said that was a little bold and maybe driven, that kind of action by this woman was maybe somewhat misguided, at least initially, but it produced results. I mean, it planted a seed. Something was happening. Something did happen. But it illustrates this. We have a desire, I should say, a demand for connection, which allows us to feel and know the truth of life itself, really. We have that. And as I look around here, I see those that I have that with, and I know that you have that with me. What a blessing, what a gift. And so first the recognition, then the creation. So it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to all of us to fashion the world, to build the world that we wish to see. And so with that, I say, namaste. Namaste. All right, so we got ourselves an usher today, and Charmaine, you're ushing, right? Now, Charmaine can do all things, church. She can talk about events. She can talk about food. She can talk about core values. Come on up, come on up. And she can also ush. See that basket right there? It's an ushing tool. And what it's for is for us to show our gratitude for being together, for being so connected to one another. It's to show our gratitude for a community that does so much for each of us, but also does things for the outside community, that does things for people that may not be able to show up here, but need the help and the support that we can provide, because we do provide that. We provide that. In fact, you have a little letter for me, don't you? I was going to bring it up with the rest of the office. Go get it all. What's that? We're led to go hiking right then. That's right. That's right. That's right. So this is what we do, you guys, so that you know. We not only tithe to nonprofit people and charities that do good work in the community, but we also tithe back to Unity. And we received a letter here acknowledging what we do for Unity, and I wanted to share it with you. It's addressed to me, but it's for you. Dear Reverend Greg, the enclosed check is our region's tithe back to you. You are one of the essential channels of spiritual support and abundance for our region. And we're including you in this circulation of good that belongs to all of us, and we thank you for your participation and support in that good. This is one of the ways our Board of Trustees with Unity has chosen to support our region's churches, those that support us in ways that we can't even describe. It's with the intention of magnifying the impact of our tithes. We also have shared our prosperity by tithing to Unity Worldwide Ministries, Unity World Headquarters, Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, and Silent Unity. And we thank you for being a part of that process and making this whole thing work. And it's signed by the entire Southwest Region Board of Trustees. And you are being thanked for your love and generosity. And that love and generosity is shown each and every time we decide to support and connect with life. And I want to thank you for that. So we have a community giving statement, if you'd like to say that with me. God is the source of my overwhelming supply, and I am grateful. And so it is. Thank you.
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes.
Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting.
Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Here comes the sun,
Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a song. That's a song you play in your microbus, you know, when you're heading on down the road. If you, those of you who know what that is, and I know this crowd does. Yeah. And so this is what we do. We promise to use these tithes and treasures with integrity, to use them for the benefit of this community, Unity of Pasadena, and the community at large. And we promise that what we do here is in the spirit of recognizing and knowing and sharing the word with everyone that we are one with everything, which includes stewardship to the planet, which includes connection with one another. We just revel in that. We thank you for being a part of it. And with that great thanksgiving, I release these words knowing they're done. Please join me by saying, and so it is, amen. Whew, this has been fun. Happy New Year, you guys. What do you say we stand up and do the silent unity prayer for protection? I know, you gotta, look at, Michelle stretches and yawns, and here I am on my feet again. So we're gonna do the silent unity prayer for protection, and then what song are we singing? I Choose Love. Very good. All right. You guys all know this, and the words are going to be up on the screens as well. So please join me in the silent unity prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well. Come on in here. Tim?
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present is what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. Happy New Year.